Hey guys, how's it going? My name is Elias and welcome back to Age of Engineering. In the last episode, we were working on the blast furnace from Tech Reborn, right? Yeah, Tech Reborn. I can never remember if it's Tech Reborn or Neotech. I get the two confused. But yeah, we were working on the blast furnace and, well, it's ready to go. We can actually combine these and it uses up a lot of power. Um, it's pretty heavy on the power. And we can make hot tungsten steel now, which we're going to need for some stuff today. I was teaching the system how to make the structure blocks for things later. But yeah, we're going to need the hot tungsten steel so that we can cool it into tungsten steel to make the enchanted ingot so we can finish our angel ring and have flight. And there we go. That's all we had to do. Now, I'm going to be honest with you guys on a couple of things. So first of all, eventually I'm going to move everything in this area around. I haven't felt like it yet, but because it's going to be a lot of work. It's going to be a lot of rewiring stuff, especially because I have to move this guy over here. And that's not going to be fun. We'll probably move this generator here as supplemental power. Anything that's supplemental, we'll move into this room. And then eventually we'll probably have the blast furnace here. So the quest book is wrong about something major with this blast furnace. Or rather, not the blast furnace, the vacuum freezer. Because that's the last thing we're going to need to do. And that's what we're going to work on today. That's kind of the plan. I'll get to all this stuff in my inventory here in a second. But basically, the quest book says you have to have machine casings for the vacuum freezer. I went into a creative world and did some testing, and turns out, nope, you don't. No multi-block structure is required for the vacuum freezer. In fact, I don't think it can even take a multi-block structure. So the blast furnace is the only thing we need this for. And the other thing is the blast furnace takes medium tier. The vacuum freezer takes low tier. And from what I can tell, and there's a good chance I might be wrong about this, but from what I can tell, at least in this version of the mod pack, these machines don't explode. However, we can't just break them with a pickaxe, and we can't break them with the industrial craft electric wrench. I had to make a new wrench to break these machines, and I actually had to remake the rolling machine, which wasn't that big of a deal. But yeah, so this wrench is pretty cheap. It's just some bronze. But we're going to remove the rolling machine for now because we don't actually need it. I'm just going to throw it in there. And what we're going to do is we're going to make the vacuum freezer and we're going to put it on the low power. It will work just fine. It's just a little bit of a concern. I think we could put it on this line, but I don't know as well. So, yeah, there is a lot of things for us to do. But the first thing we have to do, unfortunately, is deal with bees. So in my inventory, I've been doing some searching. We're going to put this in here for now. And for the record, the tungsten seal is something that we might actually end up using later on. Because we can use it to make the tier installers, the elite tier stuff. We need that for the elite tier. And potentially some other stuff. Chemical crystallizer if we need that. So we'll need some tungsten steel every once in a while. Not too much though. The plates are not useful, but we will need a little bit of it, so it's going to be good to kind of have that set up and ready to run whenever we need it. So that'll be the plan. And like I said, I'm going to rearrange this building later. This is going to be all Tech Reborn and Industrial Craft because they run on EU. So yeah, and we'll have, you know, everything set up to be automatic. That we're going to be using a lot of. We're probably not going to make the tungsten steel automatic because no real need to. But yeah, bees. We need, in order to make the vacuum freezer, we need to get the ice shard, which is a bee product. And we're going to be trying to get the icy bees, which is industrious and wintry, which I have right here. Now, I had been going around off camera searching for villages mostly and just kind of bees in general. And I have a ton of bees now, including some tropicals. I found a jungle, and I took some stuff from that. We can also take all these combs out and throw them in here. So, yeah, good things, good things. And you might notice I have this set up. Well, I found a villager. I found a villager I liked. And so he's ours now. I'm going to rename him just in case. But if it does get to be night, we're going to need to kind of protect him. Do we have a name tag? There was a name tag in there, wasn't there? Yes, there was. We have 2. We have a few more, but I also found some dark steel and some books. Just kind of searching around. We also have some iridium shards. All nice stuff. But we're going to grab, let's just grab a couple levels. I don't think we need many. We're just going to call him the B guy. We don't need to rename him or anything, but I want to. But yeah, he has some interesting trades. Not really that interesting, but there's one that we want. So the B guy, we can get frozen combs and silky combs. This is actually really nice. Silky combs are a pain. But if we get enough silky combs, we can get... so silky combs give us silky propolis, which gives us silky wisps, which is required for making woven silk, and that makes the apiarist armor, which prevents bee stings. Not super important unless we're messing with stuff that has negative effects. Most of the stuff we're going to be playing with is not going to, so it's not that big of a deal. But it's still nice to have this trade. Stringy combs are not that important. He sells bee smokers, it doesn't matter. But this is the one we wanted. He also gives us wintry drones, so... we need an emerald and 25 dark oak. So, let's go get that. And we're going to get him an apiary so that we can potentially... and I'm hoping... There's one other trade that I'm hoping we can get. And it doesn't look like he's going to give it, but... you never know. Dark oak. Of course I don't have any. Oh man, I only have oak wood. And I don't even have dark oak saplings, do I? I have dark oak leaves. Alright, well, it looks like we're going to have to go into the overworld. Potentially. Yeah, because we mostly just have oak trees. Okay. That's fine. Let's grab our lumber axe. And I guess let's go ahead and repair it. We should have plenty of cobalt. Yeah, we have a lot of cobalt. Let's go ahead and repair this. And then we're going to head out and get some stuff. So what we're going to want to do is I want to buy an apiary because I don't want to make them. They're kind of a pain to make. And how many emeralds do you actually want? Oh, I didn't mean to do that. It's just one. Okay. I'm going to leave some emeralds over here. In here, I guess. And let's just verify that it has to be oak. Yeah. It has to be dark oak. That's a little bit of a pain, but you know what? We have a villager. That's fine. So let's head to the overworld, and we have some work to do. But yeah, I have a bunch of basically anytime I found a village that had a bee house, I took all the stuff. I would take the bees, not the bee houses. Bee houses are really good. Don't get me wrong. They're also pretty cheap to make. However, they have some downsides. So a lot of the villages will have bee houses. I don't actually know that all of them do. I think some of them do actually have apiaries. But the ones that have bee houses, they don't have the potential to give us what we want. So where is the closest dark oak forest? I think there's one relatively close. There's one over there. That's not that far away. There's one on that island. That's pretty close. And then there's a bunch over here. You know, this is where our original base was. So let's head that way. It is sunset, so let's sleep before we do. And yeah, so hopefully we can get an ice shard. And if we get an ice shard, we can do everything else we need to do today. That's the last thing to do. And I figured you guys haven't seen too much of bees. I've been doing most of it off camera, and I'm getting close to the Imperial bees, so that is good. Let's grab Slime Sling, and let's get over here. So most of the villages that have bee houses, which this one doesn't, bee houses, I mean like forestry bee, like village houses, not bee houses an item. If I think this village might have, let's see. Yeah, there's a bee house. So when I say bee house, there's this type of bee house, which is where the they have this, and these are bee houses, which are from forestry. So these are really useful, but not for us. Bee houses from the forestry for the actual bees. I wish I could. I gotta think of a better way to name those two things. Bee houses and bee homes. I think we have to go a little bit farther north. Let's take a look. Yes. I got lost. So let's head a little bit farther north. But yeah, so the bee houses, which you find in bee homes, apiaries homes, there we go. That's what we'll call them. The bee houses are useful because you can get, they do good for bee products. They're also really cheap to make. They take a comb and not much else. Alright, let's get a bunch of dark oak wood. But more importantly, let's try to get some saplings. But yeah, so the problem with the bee houses is that they do not allow for mutations. Bees will never mutate in a bee house, which can be good. Sometimes that's what you want. But currently we need mutations. And most of the things that we're going after will never mutate. They are well, not never mutate, but we're going to be, the way we'll have them, they'll never mutate because they are at the end of a line. So like Imperial bees, no matter how many majestics, how many nobles, there will never be another. I feel like we have some of these saplings somewhere. There will never be a mutation. So that is good. And let's go ahead and teleport back home. And that's good. That means we don't have to worry about losing the bees that we have. But sometimes you might want, the intermediate parts. And for those, you're going to want to have something that's not going to mutate ever. I'm going to put this lumber axe in here. I think it'll be good to store it in there. We're going to need the bucket today. So it's one of those things of just, if your purpose is mutations, then you need to have something that can mutate. So let's get an apiary. And are you going to give us any more trades? Because there's one other thing I'm looking for, and if you have that, then I don't have to go find anybody else. Haha, proven frames. This is what we want. This gives us higher production, and only villagers can give you those. You can't make them, only from villagers. So that is important. How are we doing? Majestic, cultivated. Those are a bunch of unwaries. Cool. We're going to head back to the overworld because we need to do a little bit of bee breeding. And I'm going to try to walk you guys through this once more just to kind of visualize it. Plus, I don't know what I want to do after we get the vacuum freezer and the angel ring. So, apologies, but gotta kill some time. Not really, but yeah, we're gonna do this together regardless. We'll see how much time it takes though, because there is a chance that we'll get the wintry bee right off the bat. There is also a good chance we won't, and if that's the case, I'm gonna have to do a lot more bee breeding. But we need to go to an icy, a cold place, and luckily, we used to live on a mountain over here. And it's been a while since we've been over here. So this was our first base. Up on this mountain. I actually don't remember where. I think it's right in here. Right? No? Right here, actually. In this area, at least. Oh, man. I don't remember. I thought it was just a... Yeah, it's right there. It's completely dark in here, isn't it? Yep, this was our first base. Anyways, so this is in Extreme Hills. In order to get the icy bees that we need, we could also try to get a tipsy, but it's currently not December. It's currently not New Year's, so that's not going to happen. So yeah, if we want to get the icy, it requires temperature between icy and cold. We might want to make a biomalyzer. So it's cold here. Current biome is Extreme Hills. So that tells me what I need to know about that. So this should work. Industrious. We have a common industrious and a wintry princess. So let's just plop this down. They're going to need flowers. Let's come grow over here and grab some flowers. And it'll probably yell at me about that. Yeah, it is cold, so it should be fine. And so the hope is that we'll get what we need from this, which is an ice shard. So I'm going to work on this for a little bit. Hopefully it's not going to take too long. I'm hoping that maybe the first tick will give us, you know, if we had some proven frames, that could help. I might go buy some proven frames. That'll increase production, so if we do have, right there was a bee tick, and how it works is every bee tick, if we look at, let's just look at icy, whoops, I thought it was clicked down here, icy bees. So you have an icy bee, and it does things. Every bee tick, which is like, I wish I could remember, it's like about every 30 seconds. There is a 20% chance it produces an ice shard and a 20% chance it produces a frozen comb. I believe it can produce both at the same time, but it only checks every 30 seconds or so. So I think it's done another bee tick. But basically if we have extra, if we give it proven frames, then it increases the chances. You can also make alvearies, which are big complicated machines, structures I should say, and they give you a much better chance. Whether or not that is something we want to do at some point is probably going to be a no. It's not worth it in this mod pack. This mod pack doesn't really, it forces you to use bees, but it doesn't really require you to do much bees. So there's not something like Gendistry or I think Extra Bees is the one that gives you like some better genetic stuff. There's a couple genetic mods for bees that makes it easier to get the bees you want. This mod pack doesn't have all that stuff because you really don't need to do too much with bees, so it's not really necessary. So I'll tell you guys what, I'm going to get the icy shard, and hopefully it doesn't take me too long, and then we'll come back and we'll make the vacuum freezer, we'll get our angel ring, and we'll go from there. So I'll be back once we have that. And finally, so that took way too long, but I finally got the ice shard. And now the question is, are we ever going to need crushed ice? Crushed ice can be used to make super cooled frames, which gives us a lot of production, but it's honestly not worth it. The proven frames are just as, like, they're just fine. But as you can see, I went through a lot of bees. Actually, there was a hive over here that I took, and I brought a bed, and yeah, it was a mess. But we have the icy shard, the ice shard. So let's head back home. Let's drop off all these bees, and let's make the vacuum freezer. So we need to do that all for just the ice shard, and we just needed one for the vacuum freezer, and then we don't have to mess with that ever again. Obviously, it's kind of nice. We did get some industrious drones, but we're probably not going to use those. I'm just going to dump all these guys in here. Are they all? Yeah, they're all analyzed. And I don't know what all's going on over here, but let's go ahead and throw those in there. And let's throw those in there. Cool. So, yeah, a lot of work, but it finally paid off. I guess we'll do that for now. So, with this, we should be able to make the vacuum freezer. That took a good, probably 45 minutes, to be honest. The bees are slow. Bees are very slow. That's the biggest problem with them. So we need 4 steel plates and some extractors. So we're going to need 2 machine casings. 1, 2. We're going to need a bunch of tree taps. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And so there's 1 and 2 extractors. So we just need steel plates and we can get this going. So, oh, right, it's steel. This is the steel that we're using, right? Yes, permanently the steel. So we just need to find the steel plates and make sure that is switched. Okay, so that should not be a problem anymore. We're going to run into some problems like that, just with ore dictionary stuff every once in a while. But that should be fixed and should be fine. So, I guess while we're waiting on that, let's go ahead and we're going to grab a couple buckets. We need 10 buckets of experience, and I believe we can just pull it straight from there. And it's liquid XP. Let's just make sure if we look at the usage, that's exactly what we need. So we need 10 buckets of that. There's 3, 4, and then 5. Man, it'd be easier. You know, I think we have some more buckets. Let's grab 5 buckets worth, and then can we go ahead and make the vacuum freezer? Awesome. So with that, we can finish this and make the enchanted ingot, which will let us make the angel ring. And then we have the question of, can we actually use the angel ring? Which is a valid question. We might not be able to. I think we can. I'm pretty sure we can. Let's also put that away. Okay, so we're going to hook up the vacuum freezer just temporarily right here. And this is a medium voltage. It says its input rate is 64 EU. Like I said, I tried to do some testing, and as far as I'm aware, these machines will not blow up. But we need to go grab our hot tungsten steel, because for unknown reasons, it's still hot, sitting in a chest for, I guess in-game, a couple days. But we have to vacuum freeze it. Now, the vacuum freezer can also be used with a couple other things. We can make packed ice. We can make packed ice. That's the biggest thing. And helium from helium plasma, which is not something you necessarily want to do. But this will take just a little bit of time. And then we'll get the enchanted ingot. And that's the last ingredient we need for the angel ring. And that's also going to be age 14, which is the final age. That is the creative age. And we are not ready to do much in this. We still need to do a lot of different things. Namely, we're going to need, let's see, we're going to need to automate the wither. We need to set up better automation. We need more power, power storage, everything, basically. But there is the enchanted ingot. We click it and it'll make it. I forgot we have to click it. And it's going to take a little bit of time, it looks like. Doesn't really tell us much information about this stuff, but it'll get there, and then we get the angel ring. So while we're waiting, let's look at the guide, and what does it say about the creative age? We can start. The next thing we're going to need to do is you can upgrade to the wings of the bat, which is cost-free flight. So we could get wings of the bat. That is something we can do. And it just requires some bat wings. Um, and that is a false recipe. Um, yeah, but honestly, we're not going to be using this all that much. The grid power, that is, so there we go. Creative flight. So we'll just put that in there. And we have all the trophies now. We'll have to make a trophy room. But we have creative flight. We can fly around wherever we want. And we have 60 grid power. So pretty cool. Don't see any problem using this, and honestly, I'm going to constantly use this. We're also out of power. Oh, the Solarium jet plate just stole all of our power. Oh well. Let's pop down here and recharge. We do have a lot of power, but something we're going to want to do relatively soon, and there's a lot of things to do. But I think for the rest of today's episode, what I want to focus on, we'll get into a lot of the stuff later, but what we're going to be getting to is we need to get creative RF power, and then we're going to need a bunch of those to make creative fluids and gases, and the final goal of this is to make a creative vending upgrade. So if we look at the creative items, the vending upgrade requires creative fluid and gas tanks, 2 of each. The gas tanks require 4 creative energy cubes, and those require chaotic cores plus all the high tier energy stuff. And all this stuff is kind of annoying to make, so we're going to need to automate a lot of things. That being said, some of the big problems that we're going to run into is we need 4,000 iridium, manulin, HDPE pellets, and sintered paneling. Sintered paneling is a pain. We're also going to need the gas tanks. JEI doesn't know how to handle that, but the fluid tanks, we're going to need biodiesel, empowered oil, vapor of levity, IC2 hot coolant, and short mead. And this stuff is not too bad, but these are pretty nasty. We're going to have to make, infused diamonds. We're going to have to go actually dimension diving. Why do these butterflies have so much health? Yeah, we're gonna get butterflies because I'm growing cherry trees. But cherry trees are really good. Let's grab our lumber axe real quick. And hopefully the butterflies, not ladybugs, will disappear. But this should drop a bunch of... we'll see in a second, but it should drop a bunch of cherries. And I know, they're butterflies. I probably shouldn't kill them, but I don't want them around. I've had issues with them in the past that they... Alright, I can fly. Could honestly take some stuff off of our armor. We're not going to grow any more cherry trees for right now. But, yeah, so we have creative flight. This is awesome. We can do a lot of fun things with this, and it's going to be great for kind of the long run. Most of these are unripe cherries. Aw. Oh well. So this isn't going to drop any cherries, but that's fine. We could grow cherries if we wanted to. I don't really want to. But we definitely need to start working on making our applied logistics system better, getting more power and all that kind of fun stuff. And so one of the things we can do is start looking at solar panel tier 3. The other thing, by the way, I guess let's go ahead and finish looking at the gas. The guide tells us what gases we need. And it's clean osmium slurry, hydrogen chloride, sodium, ethylene, and DT fuel. And a lot of those, they're all mechanism, and a lot of them are pretty annoying to do, to be honest. But what I want to look at today, and we're going to get started on this, is solar panel tier 3. Can we make one of these? I think we can. Do we have any mica lying around? We do. Cool. Now the question is, there it is. The question is, there's not one. Let's take a look at the solar array, tier 3. So we currently have a tier 1, I believe. Yes, that is tier 1. So if we want a solar array, tier 3, one thing to know about it is the structure blocks, tier 3, are not that bad to get. Structure blocks, tier 3, are ender pearls, redstone, and glowstone on tier 2. Tier 2 is the diamonds, vibrant, and redstonia. And tier 1 is the annoying one with the electrical steel. But electrical steel isn't an issue anymore. We can get silicon pretty easily from mechanism. So setting some stuff up to make those a little bit faster is not that big of a deal. So the structure blocks are not a problem. But the solar panels, oh boy, we're going to need solar cells. Solar cells require steel and octadic capacitors. Everything else in this is pretty straightforward and easy. Do we know how to make... Are you collecting? You are collecting void crystals. Okay. So I guess the question is, we have a tier 1 solar array. So that's 9 solar cells. We're going to need 40 more solar cells. And we don't know how to make those. So let's go ahead and... let's go ahead and automate this. So clear glass, we should know how to make that. We do. Clear glass is easy enough. The next thing is the photovoltaic cells, which I believe... There we go. Can we make one? We can. Cool. And so we're just going to need an octadic capacitor. Just one for right now. And that's going to be annoying, but it's going to take some time. Something we might want to look into, and this is something I don't know if we can do right away. And we're also probably going to want, since these require solar panels, tier 1s, we might want to teach the system how to make those. I don't know yet. I think we might look into this next time. So something else we might want to look into is fusion crafting. So this is going to require, fusion coils. Advanced machine casings. Hey, I know them. So this is going to be nasty. How bad is the actual core? Palace crystals, wither diamonds. We need to get nether stars first. What did I see there? There is something that can help us make nether stars. Wither skulls and a ton of energy make nether stars. Interesting. There's also a wither bee, but it's not worth it. Not at all. So something we might want to look into is butterflies. Everywhere. We're going to want to start... Wait, I went to the wrong place. We're going to want to start looking into automating the wither. I think that might be the thing to do. We're getting some interesting things over here. I'm going to have to decide what we're going to do next time. Powering up our solar panel is a pretty important job. That's something we're going to want to do relatively soon. But we're also going to need to start looking into draconic evolution. And, I think we might sneak that building in right here. Or maybe not. I don't know. I've got to decide on that, because we need to also have the big draconic core, energy core. And I think that'll go right here, to be honest. And then the solar panel will be over here. I think that would be fine. We'll kind of play stuff by ear, but I need to kind of work on planning out the rest of this base. One thing we can definitely start working on is mechanism. Mechanism is something that is kind of by itself. So we might start looking into developing into solar neutron activators. which these guys will allow us to make. What do? They take lithium and make tritium, which we'll need for DT fuel, which is one of the things we need. And then, yeah, we're making ethylene currently, so that's not going to be hard to get. But we'll have a dedicated process to ethylene and plastic. Yeah, we currently have a good bit of ethylene. It's not that hard to do. We also have a lot of substrate, which is nice. So I think what we'll probably start doing is, because this also has a basement, we might start looking into automating some of the stuff. We need to get like pumps for water to get heavy water so that we can get. So let's see if I can figure out how to get DT fuel. Is a chemical infuser with deuterium and tritium. Deuterium. Oh man, NEI does in this mod pack does not like mechanism. Deuterium is oxygen. It's heavy water electrolytic separated, and heavy water comes from pumps, I do believe. Electric pumps with a upgrade that is I think they're just called upgrades in mechanism. There is an upgrade for mechanism that does something with it. Filter upgrades. So these. So this separates heavy water from regular water, so we can pump heavy water. And then we'll also need, for the lithium, lithium comes from a couple of different things. We can get lithium liquid from a thermal condenser with brine, and brine comes from a thermal condenser with water. So that is something. But for those, we're going to need solar panels. These guys, which require platinum and empowered void and steel and just lots and lots of things. So we're going to start slowly working towards a lot of mechanism stuff, and I think that's what we'll start working on next time. I'm going to force myself to really work on applied energistics, and we're going to clean up the space a little bit as well. So there's a lot to do, but we'll get it done, and it'll be a lot better and easier. So I have a lot of work to do off camera, but we have creative mode flight, which is really nice. And yeah, next time we'll hopefully get some good stuff done and go from there. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!